Alright, let's get right into it. After our discussion today, I ended up getting into Maya and 3D modeling a white blood cell. I ended up creating an outer layer and with little, uh, I guess, particle debris that's like the way it was described in the videos was that these shapes I'm modeling right now are these antibodies that will destroy the bacteria that gets encased inside of the cell. That's essentially what I'm setting up here, are these bacteria fighting cells inside of the white blood cell that everything's rigged up to skeletal structure hierarchy as well. And that's what I'm doing right here, is where I'm setting up the locators to set up for all of the joints. There are joints that are controlling those antibacteria fighting cells inside of the white blood cell, and there are joints controlling the actual outer skin of the white blood cell itself. Ideally, this would be key for interaction systems, so when the white blood cell gets around stuff, it actually has a dynamic interaction where it will compress or move the bones around based off of the physical collisions between the white blood cell and the environment around it, or when it gets close to cancer cells. It would ideally, you could even shoot out particle systems from these bones. These skeletal systems are very adaptable with Unreal. You could set up particle systems to shoot out tendrils around local cancer cells that would be nearby. This is just the skin weights that I'm painting up so the bones behave a little bit more correctly. Both for the ones individually controlling the antibacteria fighting cells inside and the larger hierarchy that is controlling everything, the squish and pull factor of those influential bone hierarchies inside of the actual geometry. Getting into Substance Painter, I got right away involved with getting a good look and feel to the overall white blood cell itself, so that way it would be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. This is just the flood paint masks that I'm playing with, and also a layer blending tool to play with the opacity. Then also getting into Unreal, I ended up getting everything settled out with these textures and plugged in correctly as well. When you get into Substance Painter, the exporting is really simple. There's actually drop tabs that are preset and defined by the software you're playing in this case Unreal Engine. So when I got out of Substance Painter, I got everything hooked up. Went right away into the material presets that were native to Unreal, and I got everything working for a playable scene, so I could actually test what you see here. This is the actual rough gameplay I set up. This is again just based off of the template, the flying template from Unreal, but we have a white blood cell that will float around, and then of course when I work with Ethan, it'll be a little bit more dynamic, interactive whenever it collides, or right now there actually isn't any collisions set up at all, save for the actual camera that's on the third-person blueprint character. But the controls are pretty intuitive. I really did like the traditional WASD movement keys set up for this. It made it pretty easy to demo. But this is what I have so far. I'll end up getting a more dynamic interaction system in place where it'll have the white blood cell actually colliding and interacting with the objects it passes by. And once I get that set up, I'll start moving forward with the cancer cells and getting those set up as chaseable enemies.